The Memphis Grizzlies own the notable distinction of knocking off the Warriors, Suns, and Jazz this season. And now you can add the Grizzlies knocking off a heavyweight in the Eastern Conference. This team just beat the Brooklyn Nets. They beat down the Brooklyn Nets, and what was a statement win, as the Grizzlies have now won 5 games in a row. This team sits comfortably in the 4th spot of the Western Conference, and my goodness, who on earth saw that one coming? The Grizzlies were not supposed to peak this soon, and they're not only peaking, they are thriving. They are putting everybody on notice, and it's this team that has quickly become one of the biggest surprise stories in all of the NBA, and watching them play has been awesome. And this is a team that is hard-nosed. They're never out of a game, and they just bring it to you. And right now, they are turning heads. And you look at the Grizzlies and what they've been able to do. They are 15-4 in their last 19 games. This is a team that is getting hot, and they're staying hot. And Ja Morant, speaking of putting the NBA on notice, he right now is putting the NBA on notice.
Claxton mistimed his jump. Morant in transition. Oh, Ja Morant with a man's jam.
We got to look at this again. It was so pretty. The height, the explosiveness, and he accelerated how fast he could push it up the floor and then sky high. Oh!
He is playing out of his mind. And heading into Monday's game, he was averaging 24.7 points a game this season and 26.5 points in 6 games since returning from a 12-game absence due to a sprained knee and the NBA health and safety protocol. The Grizzlies, they were 10-2 in his absence. They did not miss a beat without him. And now that Morant is back in the fold, the Grizzlies are just that much more dynamic. Morant was actually averaging 30.5 points per game during their first 4 games of this 5-game winning streak. And then he goes on to drop 36 against the Nets, upping that overall point total now for the Grizzlies' total 5-game winning streak. And when you look at this Grizzlies team, they just do it from top to bottom. This is a great roster. This is a team that they're young, they're hungry, and they smell blood in the water. I mean, Steven Adams was a big get for them. And then you look at some of the other guys who have really stood out to me. Most notably, I got to go with Desmond Bane. I mean, he has played so well this season. He had a fantastic game against the Brooklyn Nets. And this is a guy who does it on both ends. He had 29 points, 2 assists, and 8 rebounds. Then you talk about the bench for the Grizzlies being good with so many guys that can go off. Guys like Culver, Brandon Clark, Tyus Jones. And one of my favorite players on this team, he didn't even play tonight, and that is Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks is a guy who, once he gets hot, he can get it going. And they also didn't even play Kyle Anderson in this one. So the Grizzlies were shorthanded in this game against the Nets on the road, and they beat one of the best teams in the NBA and arguably the best team in the East, and that is the Nets, who did have Kevin Durant, who did have James Harden, and this was a game that the Nets just simply lost. And the Brooklyn Nets, not to get off topic, but I do got to mention, the Nets have faltered now against upper echelon opponents this season. They are 0-7 against the Bulls, Bucks, Heat, Golden State Warriors, Phoenix Suns, and now the Memphis Grizzlies. So I'm not going to get too off track here, but Brooklyn's got to get it together when they take on some of these better teams in the NBA. And I do want to put the Memphis Grizzlies in that category because right now, the Memphis Grizzlies are playing like an upper echelon team. This team does it on the glass. This team does it in the paint. They had 62 points in the paint against the Brooklyn Nets. And when talking about the Western Conference, we are so mesmerized by teams like, the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns, and rightfully so. Those are the 2 best teams, not only in the West, but I think in the entire NBA. But when you look at the Memphis Grizzlies and what they have been able to do this season, this is a team that is only going to get better. And when you talk about that team that can make that big jump and really have that, shock factor to other people and other teams in the NBA, this is the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, you look at some of their wins, so many notable wins. They're not just beating up against bad opponents. They're taking it to teams that are arguably title contenders. So this is a good situation to have in Memphis because we saw them starting to scrape the surface a little bit last season, having that epic play-in tournament win. Remember, they beat the Warriors to get into the playoffs, and you're looking at this Grizzlies team like, wow, can they actually beat the Jazz in the first round? And then obviously that didn't happen. But now fast forward to a season later, and this team is making that jump. This team went from a borderline team that you have to look out for to a team now that you definitely have to have on your radar. And it's just been great to see. I love when these young teams gel together and we see some fresh blood, some, new faces in the NBA on top. And right now, this Grizzlies team, 4th in the West, nobody saw that coming for as good as we thought the West was going to be. And this is a team that is battling with the heavyweights of the NBA. And this is a team right now that if you meet them in a 7-game series, you would not be comfortable beating them. So this Grizzlies team, they know how to get it done. They got guys who are getting better, and they got a superstar in the making in Ja Morant. And you know what? He's playing like a superstar, damn it. I mean, we are seeing Ja Morant becoming a superstar before our very eyes. He is just absolutely fun to watch out there. And when he is in the zone, you cannot stop him. So I did want to give the Grizzlies a little bit of love in this video. I know when talking about some of the bigger teams in the NBA, the Grizzlies don't get the recognition that they deserve. A lot of the bigger market teams get all the spotlight. But when you look at this Grizzlies team, they deserve some recognition. They deserve the spotlight because right now they are clicking, they are rolling, they're having fun with it. And this is a team you definitely got to keep an eye out for, especially come playoff time, because this is a team that can, in fact, make some noise and be a sleeper team, if you will, going down the stretch. So what have your thoughts been on this Grizzlies team, guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. Grizzlies Nation, NBA fans, do me a solid favor, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Help me hit 26K subscribers. We're so close to that mark. So do your boy a favor and hit that sub button, plus post notifications. I post NBA content almost every single day on this channel, so you definitely don't want to miss out. There's a lot that I'm going to be talking about and covering over the next couple of days. I'll be doing some live streams as well, so you don't want to miss out. Go follow me on social media as well, where we can keep the conversation rolling. And that is it. The Memphis Grizzlies, they are fierce right now, and they are beating teams left, right, and center. This is Luca Rosano signing off. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again in the next video.